Rolling. That baby is a shroot. Unless somebody taught Moe's sex, that baby is mine. Nurse, cancel the circumcision.
Well, who are you?
I just might be that boy's father. We're back on Catch the Sky to talk The Office Season 8. T, it's good to see you. We got our folks all the way from Abu Dhabi to Arizona and Pennsylvania. How are things in Erie?
They're as good as they can be. How are things there?
Excited about this Thursday night football. And, well, I'm kind of getting nervous, though, because we're almost done talking about The Office, and I don't know what we're going to talk about next.
Maybe our listeners should give us some more things that they're interested in.
So for our 20 to 25 loyal fans, you know who you are. Hit us up at CTS Terry on Twitter, and then Instagram, Catch the Sky, Facebook, Catch the Sky, YouTube, Catch the Sky. MySpace? Do we have a MySpace still?
No. But yeah, make sure you search for the Catch the Sky podcast on all those platforms except MySpace.
So let's get into Season 8. Let's hit the major narrative, which is they're jumping the shark.
Speaking of jumping the shark, you know how the Fonz got so cool? He stretched his pelvic bowl.
I've been stretching my pelvic bowl quite a lot lately. Still recovering.
Yeah? You getting buff?
Val Kilmer buff?
I'm going to make you the buffest dude Val Kilmer has ever seen.
So The Office jumps the shark in Season 8. And for those who don't know, that's an Arthur Fonzarelli reference. Go to Milwaukee, find the statue. Happy days. And apparently I thought it was when Fonzarelli jumped over a car. No, he corrected me.
Wouldn't the term be jumping the car then?
I didn't, you know what? I misconstrued it with the episode of Married with Children where Al Bundy jumps over a car. And I just confused Fonzarelli with Al Bundy. I thought they're basically the same character.
Both American icons. Let's not get anything twisted here. So in Season 8, we have life under Robert California.
Michael is gone, so they're trying to make a go of it and sell us on James Spaeder. And he apparently loves marmalade. And Eastern European women.
Right. And fucking with Andy. Speaking of the marmalade, he asks him which one he wants, that or the basil plant. He tells him the marmalade. He says okay, and then he brings the basil plant anyway. And then later on, he asks Andy not to hire his wife, but then when his wife shows up, he insists that he hires her. He's like consistently fucking with Andy from the moment that he hires him.
So much, in fact, everybody is so driven that Andy's willing to put billboards all over Scranton with him holding a dong. Very edgy.
Right?
Andy's willing to try anything, honestly.
Even singing closing time every single day at the end of the day, just to piss everybody off. Not really to piss everybody off, but that's the effect that it's having, except for Stanley, who oddly loves it.
Stanley loves it, and apparently I learned that Stanley doesn't like Kwanzaa, which shocked me.
Yeah, he just wants a regular Christmas at work for once.
You've been meatballed.
Yeah, he's on a roll. He's plotting with Dwight. Dwight gets his stapler put in another food item besides Jell-O. It's a meatball this time. And then we see Stanley probably at his finest when he gets down to Florida.
Florida Stanley. Much nicer.
Let's get a cocktail.
I when I see that, and I'm kind of with Jim on this, I kind of question whether I'm living my fullest life. And I want to drive in a convertible and listen to some Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, what's Jim say? He says, I told myself I never wanted to grow up to be Stanley, and now I'm not even sure I have what it takes.
My favorite is the hotel wake up call when Dwight is going around. He somehow has everybody's room key, and he's just breaking into everybody's room to wake them up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, he has to basically suffocate Stanley to wake him up. Aaron can't even coax him with pretzel day.
Yeah, Stanley, it's pretzel day. I love that. How does she know about pretzel day? She wasn't there, but no, it happens once a year, and it's Stanley's favorite day.
Yeah, so she probably experienced a pretzel day that we didn't experience on camera. Florida Stanley is caught bringing a woman back to his room, though.
This is his third affair?
No. It's only his second. The first one was with Cynthia, who we saw at Niagara Falls, and we see this season at the garden party. But this woman would be the second one.
What about the date night? There was a woman there.
Yeah. We didn't confirm who that woman was. It could have been Cynthia, though. We still have to see. I will go back and do my research, and we will have that ready for our finale.
Okay. You still think he's banging Phyllis?
There's a possibility. I'll have to see who the woman from the happy hour episode is. But only time will tell, and we will let you know in our finale. We're going to be coming hard in the finale. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to wrap up.
So hard.
That's what she said.
So I think those were our favorite openings this season. And we will say, season 8 had the best opening segments of all the Office seasons.
Yes. While the season itself may have jumped the shark, their opening segments were absolutely on fire this season, including the opening segment to our first episode, where we see the internet phenomenon planking.
Never tried it.
No, me neither. But Aaron apparently gets run over by a car, and Meredith gets blown off the top of a bathroom stall.
Yes.
So it's clearly dangerous, and we know why people stop doing it.
I wonder if Meredith had a stunt double for that.
There probably wasn't actually a toilet in the stall, but you could imagine how much that would hurt if you fell in there and fell on the toilet.
Meredith has seen some pain, my friend.
Yeah, she might break her pelvis again. So anyway, in this episode, Aaron discovers a list in Robert California's personal journal that he has accidentally left behind at reception. She calls Jim over, and he asks if he can write it down real quick, and apparently she doesn't have a pen, so he asks Dwight to toss him his phone so he can take a picture of it. Dwight promptly rifles it like he's in the fucking major leagues, shatters it, and I'm pretty sure breaks whatever's on the wall behind him. So now they're forced to make a copy of it on the copy machine, which then everybody gets a copy of it in the office.
Later on this season, Jim will actually rifle Robert California's phone in an effort to break it on purpose on the squash court.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, while everybody is looking over this list, Robert is in the other room, and they're trying to come up with a safe word in case he comes out. And Kevin's best solution is to just yell, "Warning, warning, warning." And it actually works because they end up doing it again later in the episode. He pretty much has a high point in every one of these episodes this season.
I'm just jacked up because I actually see Kevin's teeth in season 8. I can confirm Kevin has front teeth.
Oh, yeah, that's right. On the Doomsday episode.
Yes. It's over. My quest is over. I can sleep now.
Nice. I'm pretty sure you can see him in the episode where Daryl and Toby are trying to sell him cookies as well.
Yes. It happens twice. Yes.
You must have been so happy when that happened.
I wrote it down instantly, and I was elated. I almost fell in the air like Phyllis did when
Robert California stepped into the room.
But I think Robert California is psychologically fucking with everybody, particularly Andy, right? And he has this list of winners and losers, and he wants to be proven wrong.
That's right.
And he's a very intimidating, intense manager. And I would not, like, I miss Michael Scott instantly. But man, these people have to pretend to work now.
That's right. It used to be not my job, not my prob. I'm going to the warehouse to polish my knob. But now, like you said, they got to get their ass to work. And we see that in the second episode with Robert demanding that they double last quarter's growth. And while he's doing this, Erin asks him if he'd like a cold beverage, to which he responds, coffee. And she brings him this ice cold coffee filled to the brim. Like she's spilling it all over the place. I can understand why she got the cold coffee, which she later explains, but she never explained why she filled it all the way to the top.
I related to that coffee scene because working in an office, I once had an assistant bring a cup of coffee to a guest, and this thing was piping hot and filled to the brim. And I just could not believe that they would even handle literally what Erin did, but with hot coffee, and then proceeded to give it to this person. And they begrudgingly took it. Like they oh God, and they had to slurp that thing down. I was embarrassed. I fired that person later. I couldn't do it.
There's a number of jokes in this show surrounding coffee, from Dwight knocking the coffee out of Stanley's hand to Michael having to go downstairs to the warehouse to get more coffee for Pam, from Gabe asking Daryl to go on a coffee run to try and impress Val and having the turntables turned on him.
Coffee for the win.
And I think that's because everybody that works in an office basically relates to coffee, right?
It's the socially acceptable drug that everyone's okay with, right?
Absolutely.
It's not like you can just do your morning ecstasy, and get by with that.
Yeah, well, what's it take, Ryan? 90 minutes, according to Dwight's watch?
He's got a vacuum, and there he's vacuuming his hotel room. Oh, it's absurd. So they increase productivity in the office with the incentive of putting a tattoo on Andy's ass.
Well, Andy comes up with this stupid point system, and he has all these like kids' toys and a vibrator. And nobody wants any of that stuff. So he tells them that they can also pool their points together as an office. And he might also do some ridiculous things. For example, for 500 points, he might wear a dress to work. Or for 1,000 points, he might run naked through the parking lot with a donut on his ding-dong.
I would do any of this stuff for free. I don't understand. What's the big deal here? But, except the tattoo. I don't want another tattoo.
Right.
I'm done with those.
But ultimately, that's what they settle on as an office for 5,000 points. And they get it right on his ass. Took him one day.
They've never worked harder. I think there were some more memorable Stanley moments.
You need to unleash the power of the pyramid.
He's a great salesman. He really is. I feel like Dwight's the best salesman, but then
Stanley's got to be right behind him.
I feel like they're 1 and 2.
Definitely. Speaking of 2, Kevin's running 2 calculators. I don't even know how this is humanly possible. Apparently he's ambidextrous now as well. But they ultimately settle on getting a dog that has a shirt that says Nard on it. So it's a Nard dog on his ass. As opposed to Phyllis's idea, which was to get a baby crawling out of his asshole. Come on, Phyllis.
I still think that's a fantastic tattoo idea. And
well,
I might do that someday. Speaking of babies, my dog is presently snoring like a buffalo. Hopefully you can't hear that at home. But episode 3 starts out with a bang with a dog left in a vehicle outdoors.
We can relate to this.
Yeah, we're pandemic puppy owners.
But my problem with this opening is that the sunroof is open and it's parked in the shade and it's Scranton and it looks like it's probably fall, right? They're all wearing jackets.
They're always wearing jackets.
So it's cool.
The Halloween episode hasn't happened yet, so I have to assume it's in...
Could be September, October. The point is, it's cool. This dog probably isn't roasting. But regardless, Oscar takes it upon himself to break the window open.
With a tire iron.
Yeah.
And one for good measure. And then take zero responsibility after that.
Yeah, so they just replace the window with cardboard. That's their great solution. And poke like 5 holes in it.
And they dumped a milkshake. It looked like it was a Jack-in-the-Box milkshake, if I'm looking at the cup correctly.
Yeah, so this dude comes back to his car all fucked up.
Yeah, they totally jack his car. They should have taken his weed, but overall, it's a pretty fucked up.
Kind of like the office guys come in and just fuck up the whole office after they win the lotto. That's what happens later on in the episode. Hide decides to go start an energy drink for homosexual Asians. Glenn's starting a fat camp where they steal your kid in the night. Imagine a couple of the other guys are starting a strip club on a boat.
I really want to try that energy drink. As I understand, it's coconut penis is the flavor.
I miss original.
So all the warehouse workers quit. I would help, obviously, but my hip, I'm not 100% yet. I would kill to be at 100%.
So naturally, they take Jim, Dwight, Kevin, and somehow Erin, unless they need her upstairs.
She has very toned arms. I don't know if you've noticed.
And their solution is Senior Lodenstein. They grease up the floors and they're pushing boxes all over the place. And this is after Dwight drives the forklift straight into the wall.
I'm surprised Dwight did that as someone who seems to know how to operate farm equipment.
Yeah, like what the hell? You think he would be a little better than that? He just drives it straight into the fucking wall and leaves it there. So, meanwhile, Daryl is sulking upstairs, talking about how he can't air out his basement. Taco air is heavy and it settles at the lowest point. And Andy tells him that he needs to hire some people for the warehouse. So Daryl rounds up some potential warehouse workers, Nate being one of them. I thought he was the building manager, but now he's apparently got enough time to apply for a second job in the building.
That's Mark Prox, who plays Nate.
Oh, okay.
And he did Drunk History, by the way. And Drunk History is now canceled or is done, which is a big disappointment. I don't know what's wrong with America.
Well, not everybody's perfect. Including this guy who apparently finds it appropriate to eat Stanley's lunch during this interview process.
It looked delicious, too.
But I like that the episode ends with everybody saying what they would do if they won the lottery. Jim and Pam obviously have to compromise on some ridiculous fantasy rather than being Stephen King characters. But Toby would start a true crime podcast called The Flenderson Files.
Which we would support. We'd be big fans. You know what I love in this season is that Toby finally gets to actually be a character more so because Michael just abused him and bullied him.
Well, that continues.
And Kelly still...
Yeah. Kelly bullies the shit out of him. She's got some pent up aggression. She takes her earrings off and she goes over. You're not so pretty now, huh? And he's like, this is the pre-violent phase. And so then she starts hitting him. She's like, yeah, it's so pre-violent now.
I think he goes home at the end of the night and he writes his detective crime novels. He's really into that. And
Chad Flenderman.
Chad Flenderman. He's an easygoing black guy who knows the streets, but he also went to Oxford. So he's just as comfortable on a motorcycle as he is on Air Force One. Oh, he's also the world's leading Egyptologist.
Well, it's completely ridiculous. I love that besides having the Chad Flenderman alter ego, Toby also takes on the Lloyd Gross persona when Frank from the Syracuse branch comes to confront them about taking all of the Binghamton clients.
Also, Frank from The Wire is that same character.
Oh, yeah. That's right. What's his name in the show?
I thought it was Frank.
I don't know. I just been calling him Frank because that's how I know him from The Wire.
Google Frank from The Wire.
Either way.
His name is Chris Bauer in real life, but he plays Frank Spotka in The Wire. Season 2.
And for this conversation, he's going to remain Frank. Or Kimosabi, as Toby calls him during the confrontation.
Well, Lloyd Gross is a no-nonsense kind of guy. He eats bullies for breakfast.
Oh, my God. I'm pretty sure Toby makes a stupid toast just like everybody else does at the garden party.
The toast is my favorite part of the garden party.
Get in the game, Gabriel. Why are you talking to Stanley's mistress? Gabe just loves girl time. That's all.
Well, I want to really quick, T, I do want to give a toast to the troops. All the troops. Both sides.
Oh, that's so kind of you.
It didn't get nearly as much traction on my Facebook as I thought it would. I think someone thought it was a Republican-Democrat thing, and I don't think they realized we're still at war in like 10 different countries. What's going on, America? Have you forgotten?
Oh, nobody's paying attention. Nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care, as our friend George Carlin would say.
Just like Andy's parents don't seem to care about their firstborn son and prefer Josh Groban cameo.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't? Walter Jr. They changed Andy's name when he was, 5, 6, or 7 from Walter Jr. to Andy because they just figured it fit Josh Groban better. Speaking of Andy's parents, the actors changed for his parents, kind of like Pam's mom did earlier in the series.
Yes. Okay. I did not even notice this.
Yeah.
How do you pick up on this shit?
I don't know. When they look totally different, it grabs me. Actually, Jim's dad looks totally different, but it is the same actor. He just grew a beard from one season to the next. So I thought he was a totally different guy too, but it turns out it was the same guy. And speaking of parents, we hear about Dwight's parents, but we never see them.
Kind of like Creed's parents?
Yeah, Creed's parents are still alive. Oh, they show up at the photo shoot. And they're all so happy. They just have the biggest, toothiest grins on their face.
Is that the free photo shoot that Dwight offers to the office in an effort to get baby DNA?
The one and the same.
Yes. Which I think, to me, is one of the more underlying narratives here that we don't get to talk about as much. But Dwight and Angela make a baby. Or do they? We'll find out in season 9.
Yeah, everybody thinks that it's the Senators currently. But when it is born prematurely and is more than substantial, there are questions to be asked. Kind of like Creed. He's just going insane this season. At one point, they're hiding over in his little corner. And they're like, we're never here. Who said that? And then they hand him a fucking Toblerone bar. How'd I get this long triangle? Does he not see the people that are standing fucking behind him? He doesn't see the people that are behind him. But when Jim comes up on the fucking roof and says he was never here, Creed says, okay, but what about your friend? And there's nobody there.
And he's flying a helicopter or a drone?
I think it's a model helicopter, not a drone. I think it's a little model
Were drones even around in 2011?
I think they would have been around at that point, but Creed's old school, and he's a little more bizarre than that.
Creed's old school in the way he's more of a burrito guy.
But if you won't tell, I won't. Wink, wink. Or as Nate calls them, meat pockets.
Yes, he's translating for Ernesto.
Oh my god!
So an empanada is a meat pocket. I know I'm used to I'm like Phyllis. I want American Mexican food.
I mean, aren't they all meat pockets? If that's going to be the fucking translation that we come up with. Oh Jesus Christ! But Creed, he's on this run, and during the self-defense course that Toby is trying to put on, that Kelly ends up bullying him in, he tells everybody that the best thing to do is strike, scream, and run. So Creed promptly stands up, smacks Meredith in the back of the head, yells like a maniac, and just runs out of the room. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, he's literally more he's literally more unhinged this season than he has been in any other season, I think.
I think there was the threat of Jim, Pam, Ryan, and Andy all leaving the show after season 8, and so it was in their best interest to give everybody an opportunity to really showcase who they were in the event that they would keep going for a season 9 without some of their main stars.
Gotcha.
And I think there's so much ripeness for a spinoff. Like, I think Creed could have his own show. Meredith could have her own show.
Well, there was supposed to be a Dwight spinoff show called The Farm, and it was going to have the guy from Silicon Valley and his sister and everything in it.
No shit.
Mm-hmm. That's what that one episode is when they have the funeral. That's like a setup, or kind of like a pilot episode for that.
Okay. Speaking of farms, what about the Battle of Schrute Farms?
The Underground Railroad for the sensitive and, well, fabulous. The northernmost battle of the Civil War, according to The Office.
Not Gettysburg, to be fair. Fun fact, the westernmost battle of the Civil War happened in Arizona. It was at Picacho Peak, which is about halfway between Phoenix and Tucson. So, yeah.
Some trivia here for you on the Catch the Sky podcast. You learn something new every day. Just like a fluke is a type of fish. It's one of the most common types of fish. So if you go fishing for a fluke, it's a pretty good chance you might catch one.
Or a Quaker Fair. All you have to do is guess the correct price and you'll win the prize.
Yeah, Dwight wins everything. What's his donation? Like $34,000 or something like that?
That's 36 or 34. That sounds right. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But I'm a fan of that because Kevin is bidding on some jujitsu lessons and makes a note that no one is raping this guy. and Creed's response is, well, I don't want to get raped.
Kevin does have a couple other notable highlights this season, one of them being when he says he wants to be wined, dined, and 69'd. I think basically everybody and their mother has used that reference at some point.
It would be nice. It would just be nice.
Yeah, you mentioned that in our episode last week. That's all you want. You want to be wined, dined, and 69'd. See? Everybody and their mothers fucking use that reference, even as recently as last episode.
That or I just want to do yoga or canoeing. I don't know what this pervert likes.
Well, yeah, but the reality is I'm not Rumpelstiltskin, safe. I can't keep spinning gold out of your shit.
Do they bleep out shit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But who says none of us are diarrheal?
I believe that was Aaron, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then later on, keeping with shit as a theme, Ryan says when people see this presentation, they're going to shit their pants.
And then promptly bails out.
He ends up bailing, and Jim has to do the whole thing himself.
With the makeup.
You're wearing eyeliner, Jim.
It looks like Clockwork Orange. It's very Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. Yeah. Gabe looks like he'd be right at home in that world. And he also has a shit joke himself when he tells Dwight that he's the toilet of Sabre. He could have been the incinerator, the garbage disposal, but instead he decides to take Dwight's hand and flush.
All of that for a bagel discount, no less.
Yeah. And then Dwight turns the tables on him and puts him in a fucking arm bar. And the lady that sits across from Gabe just doesn't do anything, just puts her head down, ignores his cries for help. And that woman might be my cameo nomination for the season because she is the lady from the Toyota commercials.
How the fuck do you spot this shit?
Well, she's got this smile, and I always thought the lady from the Toyota commercials was just so sexy. I just thought she had just a beautiful smile. That is why I recognized her immediately off the bat. Her name is Lauren Coppock, and she might be my nomination for cameo this season. I don't know. Josh Groban is right up there. How about you?
So my favorite nominee this season is Lindsey Broad. And I'm nominating Lindsey because she played Kathy Sims. And Kathy attempts to have an affair with Jim in season 8. And as a result of that, people still harass her online to this day. That is how serious people take The Office. They're willing to harass
fictional show.
Fictional fucking character. Calm your tits. Right. Jesus.
Oh my God.
So that's my nominee. But I also like Famous Amos. And the reason is that an oatmeal cookie without raisins just simply does not mix.
No, that sounds good. I want that. I would eat that. It's the same reason I get pissed off every time I want to get cinnamon bagels and they got fucking raisins mixed in them. I don't want cinnamon raisin. I want fucking just cinnamon. God damn it. I don't want no fop. God damn it. I'm a Dapper Dan, man.
And Aaron just walks away defeated. Sorry to have wasted your time. She calls him famous.
Yeah, I know. She actually stays in Florida and works for an older woman named Irene, who is another cameo. She was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show and Everybody Loves Raymond. Those were a couple of her bigger sitcoms, but she had a number of roles over the years and is a pretty well-known actress in the Hollywood community. Georgia Engel.
Okay.
So, nice. Do you have a number one? Have you named a number one cameo for this season?
I'm going to go with Wally Amos Jr., born July 1st, 1936. And he's from Tallahassee, Florida. So, fun fact.
Oh, that's another. Ooh. That's
boom,
awesome.
Boom.
That's awesome because they're in Tallahassee. So that means he was local. They could have just easily brought him in. That's an interesting, deeper level that the writers went to. Like, who's a local celebrity in Tallahassee that we could bring in? Oh, Famous Amos.
That's the shit I want to do, T. I want to showcase a local business every single week. We always do Black Sheep Coffee, but maybe we hit La Santissima. And whatever's going on in Erie, you do that. Maybe we'll bring some local people from the Phoenix, Arizona area on our next show to talk. I don't know.
If anybody would like to, they can feel free to get in touch with us at CTS Terry on Twitter or by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast on Facebook or Instagram. Are there any other points that you want to hit on before we wrap up this episode, bud?
I'm going to tell you her last name tomorrow because she's going to be screaming it tonight.
Ayo! That's
all I got.
That's the perfect note to end it on.
Well, it's been a fun season 8, T, and I've enjoyed talking to you. I'm looking forward to talking more. Season 9 coming soon.
We're going to finish what we started. And I'm looking forward to completing this journey with you. And I look forward to whatever our fans out there ask to hear more about. Until then, everybody have a great week and keep trying to catch the sky.